Hi there, I thought I'd show a few of the videos that I played on my latest radio show, the September 2017 show. Just concentrating on some that maybe people might not have come across, but I think are worthy of attention. This is all Kiwi music on vinyl. First up, and playing in the background, Reb Fountain, the second vinyl release from her this year. And God, they've both been great. There was an EP and then this LP. Both out on her own label, Fountain Music, and they've been helped out by WaihekeRecords, which is associated with the Wine Cellar and Whammy Bar in Auckland, a live music venue. Gatefold sleeve for this LP. Both of the EP and the LP, the story's been told quite a bit about how they were recorded a few years ago. One of the players on here, Sam Preble, unfortunately took his own life a couple of years ago, and that's kind of led to some, I think, some difficulty for Reb Fountain in releasing this music, but she's finally put it out, and yeah, really kind of stunning, kind of indie folk country album that I highly recommend. It's called Little Arrows, by the way. And the EP, which I may or may not have shown on a video, Hopeful, Helpless, both recommended. Paul McClaney was in a band, kind of indie band called Gramsci a few years ago. He's got a stunning voice, and two things here that he's been associated with. This is McClaney and Malik, so it's Paul McClaney on vocals, and sorry, what's his first name? Russia, sorry, it's very, very small print, hard to read on there. Rashi Malik on piano. So these are quite stark, kind of just vocal and piano tracks on here. Look at the cover artwork, it's absolutely extraordinary. I recommend going and checking out the photography, which is by, again, struggling with the print. I'll put the name of it up because it's well worth checking out the website. And there, the album Old Traditions, just great vocal performances, and yeah, and piano and vocal track in there. And then coming along, just probably within a month or so of that coming out, another project that Paul McClaney was involved in called Play On. So this came out of Shakespeare pop-up globe, where they built this kind of replica of the globe, put on a whole lot of Shakespeare plays, and had a whole lot of associated artistic events around it, including setting some of the words of Shakespeare to music, and that was well received. So Paul McClaney pulled together some of those people into the studio to release this album, Play On. So you've got Paul McClaney, Rhea Hall, Mara TK, Julia Deans from Fur Patrol, Lawton Cora, Maisie Ricker, so a whole lot of pretty well-known and acclaimed New Zealand vocalists, and again with the lyric sheet, giving the words of Shakespeare, and these are all set to strings, with the exception of a couple of the tracks which I think are recorded live, which have drums and bass with them as well. And yeah, really interesting stuff, and some beautiful vocal takes, and something quite different from the normal indie fare. This is probably one of my reissues of the year, though it never came out on vinyl in the first place. Bill Doreen and the Builders, Chrysanthemum Storm. When was it first put out? 2008, I'm thinking, something like that, on CD through Power Tool, maybe a little later than that. But just, yeah, great record and great album. Bill Doreen, there's recently been a movie about him, which I highly recommend, and I've just kind of been on a bit of a Bill Doreen kick, really, and so this coming out and getting issued on vinyl for the first time through Power Tool and Austrian label Zell was just fantastic. He's such an amazing lyricist. I mean, he writes a lot of poetry and non-fiction, and yeah, that comes through in here. These kind of amazing story songs. Very nice to have that on vinyl. Again, highly recommend that. This is something I stumbled upon in a Wellington record store slow boat, looking through the New Zealand bins. The Aristocrats VHS, and thought, the heck's this? I've never seen this before. Released in 2015. They're a Northland band, I think from Whangarei, kind of playing indie-ish rock and roll and kind of rock. Yeah, and I thought, well, it was cheap, so I picked it up, gave it a punt, and it's not too bad. So I'm also always a sucker for songs that acknowledge New Zealand places, and this is the first song, Kaitaia Fire, which I'm not sure is about the town Kaitaia or about the sauce Kaitaia Fire, which by the way I highly recommend as a chili sauce. Two things here from Craig Williamson of Hamilton. He's got many projects, and he's been releasing them lately through the German label Clostridium, who do an amazing job. So this is Lamp of the Universe. It's a split LP with another band, Kanoi, who are also regulars on Clostridium. So Lamp of the Universe is, I suppose, the more kind of spiritual psych side of Craig Williamson's output. And when Clostridium do stuff, they always do kind of a few different editions, like a black vinyl edition, a limited coloured version, and then a die-hard version, which has different coloured vinyl and extras. So this one, the Lamp of the Universe Kanoi split, this psychedelic gatefold there comes with a little jigsaw puzzle, if you're into such things. Personally, puzzles drive me nuts. Kind of make me feel a bit itchy and weird, actually. Even seeing people do Sudoku creeps me out. And don't talk to me about Rubik's Cubes. So that's getting hidden away. But you've also got the little insert here, and let me show you the vinyl. This is the die-hard edition. So I always end up spending a bit more in getting the die-hard because, you know, that's what we do, eh? So nice kind of green, white, swirly vinyl. And also from Craig Williamson, but a different project. So I think they did, of this one, they did, there's 400, so the numbered edition, maybe 200 black and 100 of the colour, and then 100 of the die-hard. So I'll put that away in a minute because I want to show you this. This is another of his projects, Arc of Ascent, which is a bit heavier, and came out just a couple of months after. Realms of the Metaphysical. I don't know how many Arc of Ascent albums there have been. This might be the 4th. Again on Clostridium, and again the die-hard edition, which came with some incense, if that's your thing, and also a little kind of incense holder there that you can burn your incense on. Arc of Ascent is a bit heavier, still kind of spiritual heavy psych, and another great package from Clostridium, and this is the die-hard edition. So I've seen there's a few different versions of this. There's the black, there's this kind of greeny brown version. I've seen it called yellow, but I don't think that's right. And this is the die-hard version. Look at that. It's fantastic. Yeah, and you can buy from Clostridium, or if you're in New Zealand, you can buy from Bandcamp, Arc of Ascent, or the Lamp of the Universe Bandcamp for their stuff, and you get local postage because Craig's got a stock of them, and we'll get them off to you, and he's lovely to deal with as well. And what have we got here? Oh, this is on 112 Magic Factory. So 112 have been releasing great garagey, kind of garage punk, garage rock stuff, all kind of based around the K Road scene in Auckland over the last few years. They haven't put a foot wrong yet, and they haven't with this either. This is Magic Factory, working with gold. This features members, I believe, of Raw Nerves and some of the other 112 bands. And this is kind of got, it's still pretty garagey, but it's kind of got this, to me anyway, this kind of 70s Rolling Stones kind of vibe to it. If you think about those kind of classic early 70s Rolling Stones albums, which have that kind of, I suppose, kind of this kind of laid back, kind of decadent rock feel, and they kind of bring that to this kind of garage rock aesthetic as well, and I think it works really, really well. Really pleased with that. And there's a couple more 112 releases on the way. And I wanted to finish off with a bunch of 7 inches. Master Blaster, their third 7-inch. This is Auckland hardcore. So yeah, well, you've got 6-song 7-inch EP. They've done one of their own. They've done a split 7-inch. They're all available through Bandcamp. Lyric insert in there. Nice political, lefty, hardcore punk. Ferocious stuff. Really, really good. The Cavemen, they've released stuff through 112 Records, but now this single is on Slovenly, an American label. Death Row, Dog on a Chain, Killing Myself to Live. The one I played on the radio was Dog on a Chain, which is just a killer song. So catchy, and this is nice. It's got the big hole, that pink vinyl. They've been really prolific. There's been a bunch of maybe this year there's been 2 7-inches and an album, and they've had other stuff out previously as well. So lots and lots of their stuff, and they seem dedicated to putting it all out on vinyl. Island Fever, which I think is the 3rd 7-inch from the indie guitar band The Situations. Island Fever, You Are What You Are. That's from them. And the final one, recorded by the same person actually, recorded by Bob Frisbee at Frisbee Studios. Is all from the K Road scene. This is great. The New Existentialists, which is the songwriting of George Henderson of The Puddle, and here he is with James Holloway, Nathan Bycroft and Chris Hazelwood in there as well. 2-track 7-inch, Elton John and Mysteries of the Worm. He just has this amazing ability to write these incredible off-kilter yet pop songs. Yeah, really, really good. So you can check out those songs on Counting the Beat September 2017 radio show. I'll post a link for you. Cheers, thanks for watching.